A favorite memory here in the town of Apex. I guess coming to the movie theater here in Apex as a youngster. Being from a small satellite community such as New Hill, we had to catch rides to come to Apex for a showing at the theater. I enjoyed that experience. I enjoyed the theater presentations they did. The one thing that puzzled me is why did I have to sit upstairs at the theater rather than downstairs with the total population? Okay? What I'm saying is, why did whites all sit downstairs and I, as a black person, had to sit upstairs? But as I grew a little bit older, I began to understand it. Not appreciate it, but understand it. The one thing that I think about quite often, and it's a memory that has been with me all my life, and that is the support that I got from my family with reference to my getting an education. There's one thing that my father would not allow. He would not allow us to miss school under any circumstances. I remember a neighbor of mine came to him one time and asked him, could I stay out of school to help him put in tobacco? And he said, absolutely not. He can help you only after school or during the weekend if he wants to. But he will never miss school just to work, okay? My father was one who placed a lot of emphasis on my sister and my brother and I attending school and getting an education. He was just emphatic about that. He said, under no circumstances will anything ever come between you and your activities and you're getting an education. And today, I think about that, and I think about how that contributed to my life and the success that I've had in life. And the thing that I'm most thankful for is the fact that I emphasize the same thing for my son. Well, New Hill has been home to me all of my life. I moved away when I started my career as a public school teacher. And I moved to a rural county in this Moore County, down in a little place called Carthage, North Carolina. And I taught school there for 7 years. I started at one of the predominantly black schools there called Pinckney High School. And when schools were integrated, I moved from Pinckney over to Union Pines High School there in Carthage. And I stayed in Carthage for 7 years. And why all of a sudden I decided to leave education, I can't explain that. I love teaching. I always have loved teaching. But when I looked at my personal life, I said, where can I go career-wise in the public school system? And I saw a lot of limitations there. So I said, if I want to go beyond being a teacher, I've got to get out of education and look at a career in another field. And of all places to go, it was to the North Carolina Division of Prisons. And there I worked 27 years with the Division of Prisons, starting in youth services and then moving into adult services. Why I did that, I don't know. But when I look back, that was a tremendous decision that I made for myself. I enjoyed it. New Hill is a rural community. It was a community that's unique. I knew every person that lived in New Hill, everybody. Everybody there knew me. And I'm proud of that, because if I got out of line, I didn't have to worry about my father finding out about it. They were going to send that message immediately to him that they are punishing me now. They didn't wait for him to punish me. They punished me. And during that particular time, that was the thing to do, because the attitude of the people there was this: it takes a community to raise a child. And that's one thing that I appreciated about New Hill, and still appreciate about New Hill, because in our community, everybody there reaches out to help others. No matter what problems they're dealing with, I can feel comfortable going to just about anybody there and say, listen, I've got this problem, I need this help. And I will expect them immediately to start helping me with that problem. And that's what a community should be. That's the way it should be. Well, when I was growing up, New Hill was a separate community from Apex. We were a satellite community. But when I look at the relationship between my community of New Hill and Apex now, in the not too far distance, it's going to become one community. I can see today things that Apex is doing, moving out into my community. We're beginning to see police from Apex showing up in our community, and the only law enforcement people that we saw were the county sheriff. But now we're seeing the county sheriff and Apex showing up to provide supervision there. We have a fire station there built by Apex. So in not too very distant future, you are going to see Apex and New Hill become one community. And I see a lot of positive things about that, because there are resources that Apex have that New Hill can use. For instance, the fire station that we have. We wouldn't have gotten that had Apex start to expand and come out there. We wouldn't get the police protection that we are getting there from Apex Police and Wake County Sheriff. So I think it's good. I think it's good. New Hill is a small rural community located on US 1, going south, and New Hill Holloman Road. At that intersection, that's where New Hill is, okay? And then it spreads out in various directions. It's a unique community, and it is a community that is in the process of really changing. When I grew up there as a child, naturally it was a rural community. Most of the shopping that the residents did there, they had to come either to Apex or Cary or Raleigh. But that's even changing. And if you were to ride down New Hill Holloman Road in New Hill today, you will see the change, because you're seeing massive growth. You're seeing massive communities beginning to be built, already being completed, and people moving in. You see, I can go back in New Hill when the population there probably was 75. And you've got communities coming in New Hill now, and if we were to count the number of residents there, it would probably be well into the hundreds, okay? And as far as I'm concerned, that's massive growth. And I personally feel that that's just the beginning. 5-10 years from today, we will be talking about massive building in the area. Now we've got businesses coming in, and we've businesses that's bringing with them one business 700 positions. So that's going to impact changes that we never thought about. We're having a new elementary school being built out that way. That's going to bring about changes we never thought about. I predict 10, 12 years from today, New Hill will no longer be a rural community, but it will be a small community similar to Apex, growing. Well, let me change that. I suspect that in the very near future, New Hill is probably going to become a suburb of Apex, because we can see that happening already. Fire station, police out there from Apex, and they're just not coming out there to look at the scenery. They're coming out there to provide protection. Later on, you're going to start talking about Apex growing in that direction. I can see it now. You go out number 1 now, you see new complexes being built. And I suspect that if you were to talk to the town council here in Apex, and if they would be honest with you, they're looking favorably at moving in that direction. That's about the only direction they can go, really. So 10, 15 years from now, there will no longer be a New Hill. It'll just be part of Apex. That's a prediction I make.